The Artemis 7 drifted silently through the Kuiper belt, its sensors scanning the distant planetoid designated KBO 2387. Commander Nadia Reyes adjusted her viewport, squinting at the unusual energy signatures emanating from the asteroid's surface. After 3 years in deep space, anything breaking routine deserved attention. Engineering, are you seeing this? Nadia's voice echoed through the comm system. Lieutenant Daniel Park responded immediately. Affirmative. Energy output suggests artificial origin. Definitely not natural radiation. How did we miss this? Nadia muttered, reviewing the mission parameters. The Artemis 7 was mankind's furthest manned exploration vessel, tasked with collecting data from the solar system's outer boundary. Finding evidence of non-terrestrial technology wasn't in the briefing. Prepare EVA gear, Nadia ordered. We're taking a closer look. 90 minutes later, Nadia guided the exploration pod toward the planetoid's cratered surface. The energy signature grew stronger, pulsing with rhythmic precision that eliminated any possibility of natural occurrence. Mission Control, be advised we're proceeding with surface exploration of anomalous energy source, Nadia reported, knowing the transmission would take hours to reach Earth. The pod touched down beside a narrow fissure in the planetoid's icy crust. The energy readings emanated from deep within. Nadia and Daniel secured their helmets and proceeded cautiously toward the opening. Temperature rising, Daniel noted. Whatever's generating power is producing heat. They descended through the narrow passage, helmet lights illuminating a tunnel that appeared too smooth, too regular to be natural. After 20 minutes of careful navigation, the passage opened into a chamber that defied explanation. Crystalline structures lined the walls, pulsing with soft blue light. In the chamber's center stood what could only be described as equipment, delicate instruments arranged in patterns suggesting purpose and design. "My God," Daniel whispered. "It's a research station." Before Nadia could respond, movement caught her attention. From behind the crystalline equipment, a figure emerged, tall, slender, with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Its large, multifaceted eyes studied them with unmistakable intelligence. Nadia froze, heart pounding against her ribs. First contact. Humanity's most significant moment, happening 96 astronomical units from Earth with only 2 witnesses. The being raised a 6-fingered hand in what appeared to be a greeting. It spoke, or rather, emitted a series of melodic tones that reverberated through Nadia's helmet. "It's trying to communicate," Daniel whispered unnecessarily. Nadia slowly raised her own hand, mirroring the gesture. "We come in peace," she said, fully aware of the cliché but unable to think of anything more appropriate. The being tilted its elongated head, then approached a console. Moments later, a mechanical voice emerged from the equipment. "Greetings, carbon-based explorers. I am Vex, xenobiologist of the Lamidian Collective." Nadia blinked in surprise. "You speak English?" "My translation matrix has analyzed your communication patterns. Primitive but functional." The being, Vex, moved with fluid grace around the equipment. "I have studied your species for 11 of your solar cycles. You've been watching us?" Daniel asked, tension evident in his voice. "Observing. Analyzing. Understanding." Vex gestured toward complex holographic displays that materialized above one console. Images of Earth, human cities, and biological diagrams appeared. "Your species presents fascinating evolutionary adaptations." Nadia stepped forward cautiously. "We're from Earth. A scientific expedition." "Yes. Your vessel matches predicted technological development patterns." Vex's multifaceted eyes focused intently on Nadia. "You are the commander. The designation on your covering suggests authority." "Yes. Commander Nadia Reyes." "Nadia." Vex pronounced each syllable with precision. "Your biological patterns indicate heightened cardiovascular activity. Fear response. Excitement, Nadia corrected. We've searched the stars for evidence we're not alone. As have we. Vex gestured toward the displays. Your species exhibits remarkable diversity despite genetic similarities. My research focuses on reproductive behaviors and genetic compatibility across species. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. You're studying how we mate? Among other biological functions. Most fascinating. Vex moved closer to Nadia, studying her with scientific curiosity. Your hormonal balance suggests optimal reproductive capability. Nadia flushed beneath her helmet. That's not typically discussed during first meetings on Earth. Cultural taboo. Noted. Vex's skin rippled with patterns that might have indicated embarrassment. I request permission to continue observation. Your expedition provides unprecedented research opportunity. Before Nadia could respond, their comms crackled with Lieutenant Zhang's voice from orbit. Commander, unidentified craft emerging from planetoid's dark side. Energy signature massive. Vex tilted its head. My research vessel returns. Perhaps you would share information exchange aboard. Our facilities are considerably more advanced. Nadia looked at Daniel, then back at Vex. First contact had just become first invitation. We accept, Nadia decided, knowing this moment would forever change human history. What she couldn't know was how it would change her own life as well. Vex stepped onto Earth soil cautiously, iridescent skin shimmering under terrestrial sunlight. As the official scientific liaison from the Lamidian Collective, this marked a historic moment, the first alien diplomat welcomed to humanity's homeworld. Nadia stood nearby, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Lamidians. 6 months had passed since their encounter in the Kuiper Belt, months filled with diplomatic negotiations and preparation for this moment. The atmospheric composition causes unusual sensations, Vex noted, voice modulator translating the melodic tones into English. Your species evolved remarkable resilience to these conditions. We call it home, Nadia replied, watching Vex's multifaceted eyes catalog everything with scientific precision. The research campus is prepared for your extended stay. The University of Global Sciences had transformed an entire wing into living quarters suitable for Lamidian physiology. Vex would spend 1 Earth year studying human culture while sharing non-sensitive Lamidian technology. Your reproductive scientists will participate in my research. Vex inquired as they walked through the secured facility. Nadia cleared her throat. We've assembled experts in anthropology, sociology, and biology. Though we typically call them relationship counselors and reproductive specialists. Fascinating terminology distinction, Vex's skin rippled with intellectual excitement. The Lamidian Collective approaches mating systematically. Your species incorporates emotional components that complicate selection processes. Professor Thomas Wells, head of anthropology, joined them in the conference room. Commander Reyes has shared your research interests, Scientist Vex. Human relationships are indeed complex, they're not purely biological. Yet biological compatibility remains fundamental, Vex countered. The chemical processes governing attraction warrant study. Over subsequent weeks, Vex immersed in human culture. The alien attended social gatherings, visited relationship counselors, and even observed dating apps with bemused fascination. Your mating rituals employ significant indirect communication, Vex noted during their weekly debriefing. Lamidians state reproductive intention clearly. Humans utilize elaborate courtship displays without guaranteed outcomes. Nadia found herself spending increasing time with Vex. What began as official liaison duties evolved into genuine friendship. They discussed everything from celestial navigation to cuisine preferences. The biochemical reactions produced by the chocolate are remarkably similar to Lamidian bonding compounds, Vex observed one evening as they shared dessert. Perhaps explains why humans associate it with courtship. Nadia noticed Vex's skin shifting to warm purple tones whenever they spent time together. According to Lamidian cultural briefings, this indicated comfort and affinity. Your research is progressing well? Nadia asked, curious about conclusions Vex might be forming. Yes, though questions emerge faster than answers. Vex's eyes focused intently on Nadia. For instance, my physiology exhibits unusual reactions in your presence. Heightened electrical patterns through neural pathways. Increased circulation to sensory organs. Nadia nearly choked on her coffee. Are you feeling ill? No. Symptoms match human descriptions of attraction rather than pathology. Vex stated this clinical observation without embarrassment. Curious, as cross-species attraction lacks reproductive purpose. Nadia felt her cheeks warm. Attraction isn't always about reproduction for humans. Precisely what fascinates me. Vex leaned forward. Lamidians mate for genetic optimization. Humans pursue connections that serve no evolutionary advantage. Your literature celebrates relationships with zero reproductive potential. Because companionship itself has value, Nadia explained. Shared experiences, emotional support, understanding, these matter regardless of whether children result. Vex processed this, skin shifting through thoughtful patterns. I find myself contemplating your companionship beyond research parameters. Is this cultural contamination or genuine cross-species compatibility? Before Nadia could respond, her secure communicator chimed. Admiral Jackson requests your immediate presence. Lamidian Council representatives have arrived unscheduled. Arriving at headquarters, they found 3 senior Lamidians in heated discussion with Earth officials. Their skin displayed agitated patterns Nadia recognized as concern. Research Specialist Vex, the eldest Lamidian, addressed them. Your transmission reports contain concerning developments. You display physiological patterns suggesting inappropriate attachment to human subject Nadia Reyes. Vex's skin flushed defensive blue. My research explores all aspects of cross-species interaction. Physiological responses provide valuable data. The Council finds your methodology compromised, the Elder continued. Your assignment focused on theoretical compatibility studies, not personal experimentation. Nadia stepped forward. With respect, Vex's approach has significantly advanced our mutual understanding. The Elder's eyes narrowed. Precisely our concern, Commander Reyes. Vex appears influenced by human emotional contagion rather than scientific objectivity. As arguments escalated, Nadia realized something profound. Beneath scientific curiosity in diplomatic objectives, something entirely unexpected had developed. Vex wasn't merely studying human relationships. Vex was experiencing one. Vex paced the laboratory, skin fluctuating between anxious yellow and determined orange. After the Lamidian Council's intervention, official contact hours with humans had been restricted. The Council insisted Vex's research continue with appropriate scientific detachment, a phrase that felt increasingly hollow. Nadia entered through the secure door, expression tense. We have 30 minutes before monitoring resumes. Are you okay? Functionality remains optimal, Vex replied automatically, then softened. Though emotional processes prove distracting. I've been researching human courtship rituals extensively. Is that why I received delivery of 17 potted succulents this morning? Vex's skin rippled with embarrassment. Earth literature suggests gift-giving demonstrates affection. Plants symbolize growth potential. Typically one plant would suffice, Nadia said, trying not to smile. And the poetry transmission at 3 a.m.? Sonic composition seemed appropriate. Shakespeare's work indicated formal structure appeals to intellectually advanced partners. Vex moved closer. Was my syntax flawed? Your syntax was perfect. Timing needs work. Nadia hesitated. Vex, we need to discuss what's happening between us. The Council clearly disapproves. Council priorities emphasize genetic research, not emotional exploration. Yet my observations suggest human-Lamidian compatibility extends beyond mere scientific interest. Vex's voice modulator couldn't fully capture the vulnerability in those melodic tones. I experience physiological responses classified as yearning. Nadia felt her resolve weakening. This isn't just unusual, Vex. It's unprecedented. There's no roadmap for whatever this is. Absence of precedent does not invalidate experience. Vex reached forward, six-fingered hand hovering near Nadia's. My species communicates emotion through bioelectric fields. May I demonstrate? When Nadia nodded, Vex's fingertips made contact with her wrist. Gentle warmth spread up her arm, carrying impressions of curiosity, admiration, and something deeper, attachment beyond scientific fascination. The laboratory door slid open unexpectedly. Professor Wells entered, followed by senior Lamidian researcher Thaz. Commander Reyes, Wells said stiffly. The Lamidian delegation requested immediate verification of laboratory protocols. Thaz's multifaceted eyes narrowed, skin displaying patterns of disapproval. Research Specialist Vex, bioelectric exchange violates non-interference directives. I was demonstrating communication methodology, Vex countered. Your field patterns suggest intimate exchange, not academic demonstration. Thaz moved toward the monitoring equipment. Council suspicions appear justified. Your objectivity is compromised. Nadia stepped forward. With respect, understanding emotional components is central to Vex research. Clinical detachment would yield incomplete data. Commander Reyes, Wells interjected, international protocols require absolute transparency with our visitors. Personal involvement jeopardizes diplomatic relations. The situation deteriorated rapidly. By evening, the Lamidian Council had transmitted formal concerns to Earth's diplomatic corps. Vex received orders to minimize direct human contact and focus exclusively on laboratory analysis. That night, Nadia found a small crystalline object outside her quarters, Lamidian technology configured to project a private message. Vex's holographic form appeared, voice modulated to whisper, "Human courtship involves persistence despite obstacles." This message demonstrates commitment to continued interaction. Lamidian tradition includes gift of personal resonance crystal, attuned to shared bioelectric pattern. The crystal pulsed gently in Nadia's palm, warm with the same emotional signature Vex had shared earlier. The following morning, Nadia found herself summoned to Admiral Jackson's office. The Admiral's expression conveyed the seriousness of the situation before he spoke. Commander, the Lamidian High Council has formally requested your reassignment. They claim your presence disrupts their research objectives. That's absurd, Nadia protested. My work with scientist Vex has advanced interspecies understanding beyond all expectations. Precisely their concern. Jackson slid a tablet across the desk. Their communication suggests Vex has developed inappropriate attachment that compromises scientific objectivity. Nadia reviewed the document, stomach sinking. The clinical language couldn't disguise the meaning. The Lamidians considered this emotional connection dangerous. They're processing feelings they don't understand, Nadia argued. Isn't that valuable data rather than contamination? Politics trumps science, Commander. The relationship, whatever its nature, threatens the first interstellar diplomatic framework we've established. Jackson's voice softened slightly. Both our species' leadership fear what they don't understand. Later, Nadia found Vex in the arboretum, skin muted to somber blue as they absorbed the situation. My attempts at human courtship rituals appear catastrophically unsuccessful, Vex observed quietly. It wasn't the execution, Nadia replied. It's the very concept they can't accept. Neither side was prepared for genuine connection beyond scientific curiosity. Ironic. My research intended to document compatibility between species. The resulting compatibility becomes evidence of research failure. Vex's skin rippled with frustrated patterns. Lumidians value rational process, yet respond irrationally to unexpected outcomes. As security personnel approached to escort Vex to restricted quarters, Nadia realized they'd stumbled into territory neither human nor Lumidian diplomacy had anticipated, genuine affection crossing the boundaries of worlds. The Artemis 9 prepared for departure, its engines humming with restrained power. Nadia stood at the viewport, watching Earth shrink beneath her. After the diplomatic incident, she'd been reassigned to lead a mission to Europa, officially a prestigious appointment, unofficially an elegant exile. Pre-launch diagnostics complete, Commander, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. Departure window optimal in 7 minutes. Nadia nodded, professional mask firmly in place despite the hollow ache in her chest. 3 months had passed since she'd last seen Vex. The Lumidian Council had recalled their xenobiologist for recalibration of research parameters, a euphemism for corrective intervention. Her communication terminal chimed with Director Foster's transmission. Commander Reyes, final authorization granted. The Europa mission represents humanity's most ambitious scientific endeavor. Your leadership is invaluable. Understood, Director. We won't disappoint. The words felt empty. While professionally challenging, the mission's timing was transparently political, keeping her far from Earth during continued Lumidian negotiations. As launch preparations finalized, a priority alert flashed across her screen. Private channel, originating from Lumidian embassy frequencies but encrypted beyond standard diplomatic protocols. Departure in 3 minutes, Rodriguez announced. Acknowledged. Secure the bridge. I need 1 moment. Nadia retreated to her quarters, heart racing as she accessed the transmission. Vex's familiar tones emerged, speaking rapidly, connection window limited. Council monitoring increases. My research continues despite restrictions, conclusion inescapable. What humans call attachment transcends biological imperatives. Separation creates neither objectivity nor clarity, only absence of essential data. Nadia pressed her palm against the screen. Vex, they're monitoring all communications. This connection endangers your position. Position already compromised. Council suspends research pending evaluation of my contamination. Vex's voice contained unfamiliar harmonics, frustration, perhaps anger. They fail to understand discovery requires openness to unexpected variables. The Europa mission launches momentarily. I can't. I know. Tracking mission parameters. Vex's tone softened. Secondary purpose of transmission, Lumidian research vessel Astralax departing for Saturn system coincides with your trajectory. Chief Researcher MEV sympathetic to continued cross-species study. Hope flared briefly before reality reasserted itself. Any unauthorized rendezvous would violate direct orders from both our governments. Indeed. Merely sharing astronomical coincidence. Vex modulator conveyed what might have been humor. MEV believes scientific pursuit transcends political limitations. Warnings flashed as communication channels began shutting down for launch. Vex, I have to go. Whatever happens. Understood. Crystals resonate across distance, Nadia. An empirical fact worth testing. The transmission ended abruptly. Nadia clutched the resonance crystal she'd kept hidden since Vex's gift, feeling its subtle warmth against her palm. 3 months into the Europa mission, the Artemis 9 maintained stable orbit around Jupiter's ice-covered moon. Nadia reviewed preliminary course samples while maintaining the focused professionalism that had earned her crew's respect despite rumors about her alien entanglement. Commander, Communications Officer Patel approached cautiously. We're receiving unusual signal patterns from Saturn's orbit. Matches no known Earth vessel. Lumidian. Nadia kept her expression neutral. Signature suggests their technology, but transmission directed specifically toward us rather than Earth diplomatic channels. Nadia's decision formed instantly. Monitor but don't report to mission control yet. Could be sensor anomaly. I'll analyze personally. That night, encrypted data streamed to her private terminal, research findings on human Lamidian compatibility with detailed physiological observations. The final section contained personal notes. Council intervention failed. Emotional attachment persists despite separation. Luminac's theory posits quantum resonance between compatible consciousness. Hypothesis: connection transcends physical proximity. Testing continues despite restrictions. Nadia composed her response carefully, disguising it within scientific data packets. For weeks, their forbidden exchange continued, shared research, personal reflections, and growing certainty that their connection defied conventional understanding. Then disaster struck. A council loyalist aboard the Astrolax discovered the communications. Vex faced immediate recall and potential memory recalibration, the Lamidian equivalent of personality erasure. Desperate measures followed. Using maintenance satellites as relay points, Vex transmitted coordinates for potential rendezvous, a dangerous plan requiring Nadia to divert the Artemis 9 from its mission trajectory. The choice before her was impossible: career, duty, and humanity's scientific advancement versus a connection that defied explanation yet felt more real than anything she'd experienced. Commander. Rodriguez interrupted her contemplation. Trajectory adjustment decision needed. Engineering requires 30-minute notice. Nadia stared at the navigation display, fingers hovering over controls that would either maintain course or alter humanity's first contact story forever. Nadia's fingers hovered over the navigation controls for 3 heartbeats before she made her decision. The Artemis 9 veered from its charted course, ostensibly to investigate an anomalous radiation signature near Enceladus. Inform Mission Control we're conducting brief detour for scientific opportunity, she instructed Rodriguez. Estimated delay, 72 hours. Approaching the rendezvous coordinates, Nadia took a shuttle with minimal crew. Research expedition only, she assured them. Maintain position and communications blackout until my return. The Lamidian vessel Astrolax appeared suddenly, its crystalline structure refracting Saturn's distant light. Nadia docked at the airlock designated in Vex transmission. Vex waited inside, skin cycling through colors of anxiety, hope, and relief. Significant risk undertaken, the Lamidian noted, multifaceted eyes studying Nadia intently. Council loyalists pursued but MEV created diversion. We have limited time, Nadia replied. Your message mentioned breakthrough research. Beyond theoretical framework now. Vex led her through crystalline corridors to a laboratory. Quantum resonance between compatible consciousness confirmed. Cross-species bonding possible through synchronized bioelectric patterns. Displayed holographically were comparative brain scans, human and Lamidian, showing matching neural pathways despite different biological structures. Our physiology differs fundamentally, Vex explained, yet cognitive emotional patterning demonstrates remarkable congruence. Connection transcends biological imperatives. You've proven interspecies compatibility scientifically, Nadia realized. Evidence compelling but incomplete. Vex's voice modulator couldn't fully capture the vulnerability in those tones. Final verification requires permanent bonding process. Unprecedented between species. MEV entered, skin displaying patterns of urgency. Council vessels approaching. Decision required immediately. The choice before them was monumental: return to their separate worlds or pioneer a connection that would forever alter both species' understanding of consciousness and compatibility. What does this bonding entail? Nadia asked. Synchronized bioelectric field harmonization, Vex explained. Permanent quantum entanglement between neural patterns. Translation, thoughts, emotions partially shared across distance. Unity without loss of individuality. Side effects. Unknown. No precedent exists. Vex's skin rippled with honesty. Potential diplomatic consequences severe. Nadia thought of Earth, of duty, of scientific discovery. Then she thought of the emptiness she'd felt these past months. Some discoveries are worth any price. The bonding chamber glowed with crystalline light as Vex carefully positioned neural connectors. Process irreversible, the Lumidian cautioned one final time. Proceed, Nadia whispered. Energy flowed between them, thoughts, memories, emotions cascading across species boundaries. Nadia felt her consciousness expand, embracing alien perspectives while maintaining her humanity. Vex's experiences became accessible yet distinct from her own, two separate beings achieving unprecedented harmony. When the process completed, Nadia opened her eyes to a transformed universe. She perceived both visible light and the bioelectric spectrum Lumidians naturally observed. More profoundly, she sensed Vex's presence regardless of physical proximity, a connection transcending conventional understanding. Fascinating, Vex murmured, experiencing human emotional resonance with newfound clarity. Neither fully Lumidian nor human, yet enhanced beyond both. Alarms shattered their moment as council vessels surrounded the astrolax. Both knew immediate separation was inevitable, but something fundamental had changed. 1 year later, Nadia stood before the United Planetary Council, testimony concluding, the Lumidian Human Compatibility Project demonstrates potential beyond scientific cooperation. Our physiological differences matter less than our cognitive similarities. Across the chamber, Vex represented the progressive faction of the Lumidian Collective, recently granted authority to pursue diplomatic relations independently from the Conservative Council. Though physically separated by protocol, their quantum bond remained undiminished. Nadia perceived Vex's thoughts as gentle impressions alongside her own consciousness, separate yet harmonized. The bond you share with scientist Vex violates traditional boundaries, Admiral Takahashi noted. Yet its success suggests possibilities our species never imagined. Precisely why exploration exists, Nadia replied. To discover not just what lies beyond our world, but beyond our preconceptions. The resolution passed, official recognition of cross-species partnerships under newly established protocols. Their unprecedented connection, once scandalous, became foundation for expanded understanding between worlds. Later, as Earth's first permanent Lumidian embassy established operations, Nadia and Vex stood together overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Initial hypothesis validated beyond anticipated parameters, Vex observed, skin glowing with contentment. Connection transcends biological imperative. In simple human terms, Nadia replied, feeling their shared consciousness resonate with mutual understanding, some things are meant to be, even across the stars.